Remember, what we're trying to do is keep the gun in the envelope of space between the clothing and the body. So if you're noticing areas where your clothing consistently contacts your body at rest, stacking a gun in between your body and your clothing at the highest peak, where your body and clothing are making the most contact, you're going to have reduced concealment success in that position. So for example, personally, I have a fairly pronounced peak right across the 12 o'clock and sort of right here under my ribs. That's where my clothing is most inclined to contact my body at rest. So placing my gun within those peaks is going to naturally force it to print more. However, I tend to have a pretty significant gap right around here at 2 o'clock between my shirt and my body. There's a little bit more generous space at that location for me personally where my gun can hide. Also, when finding your sweet spot for concealment, you want to avoid areas where your clothing is inclined to stretch or pull tightly across the gun when you're wearing it. One of the reasons that I generally prefer to carry my gun forward of the hips is that most of my normal motions and movements are going to increase the amount that my clothing drapes over the gun, rather than, for example, behind the back, where every time I reach or bend, your clothing will tighten across the gun, decreasing the amount of space between your clothing and your gun during your normal range of motion.
This is a great tip that comes from Kathy Jackson, the author of the Cornered Cat website. There are a lot of differences between men and women, both physically and in the way we dress, but the concealment principles are universal. So getting a solid foundation in the knowledge of how to make a holster conceal on your body will help you conceal no matter what you're wearing and no matter how you're shaped.
This video was created in collaboration with Discover by Langdon Tactical Technology. Discover is a place where new concealed carriers can go and learn about the ins and outs of shooting, concealed carry, and health. If you enjoyed this video, then consider hitting the subscribe button and go check out Langdon Tactical's Discover content here on YouTube or at lttdiscover.com.